The WNBA Commissioner just got caught in the biggest scandal of 2025, and the league owners are ready to fire her immediately. What Kathy Engelbert said about Caitlin Clark behind closed doors has finally been exposed, and it's worse than anyone imagined. The woman who's supposed to protect the league's biggest star basically told other executives that Clark should shut up and be grateful for what she has. But here's where it gets absolutely insane. Multiple team owners are now coming forward saying they want her gone by February, and the players are threatening to boycott the entire season if she stays. This isn't just another sports controversy anymore. We're talking about the complete collapse of leadership in professional women's basketball. The commissioner who was supposed to guide the WNBA through its most successful period ever has somehow managed to turn everyone against her. The players hate her, the fans boo her at every game, and now even the billionaire owners who sign her paychecks want her out. If you're watching this and you care about the future of women's basketball, make sure to hit that like button because what I'm about to reveal will shock you. The breaking point came just last week when Nefisa Collier went public with explosive details about a private meeting with Engelbert. According to Collier, when she asked the commissioner about protecting players like Caitlin Clark from dangerous targeting on the court, Engelbert's response was absolutely mind-blowing. She allegedly said, quote, "Only the losers complain about the refs," unquote, but that wasn't even the worst part. When Collier brought up how Clark, Angel Reese, and other young stars are making pennies compared to the revenue they generate, Engelbert supposedly told her that Caitlin should be on her knees thanking the WNBA for her $60 million endorsement deals, because without the league's platform, she'd have nothing. Think about that for a second. The commissioner of the WNBA basically said their biggest star should be grateful for being underpaid. This is the same Caitlin Clark who single-handedly increased viewership by 400% in 2024 and continues to break attendance records even while dealing with her current ankle injury that's kept her sidelined for 3 games this January. The audacity is absolutely unbelievable. But what happened next would shock everyone even more. Within hours of Collier's interview going viral, multiple WNBA team owners started leaking their own horror stories about Engelbert to ESPN reporters. One owner, who asked to remain anonymous for obvious reasons, said, quote, "If I had a vote tomorrow, I'd fire her without hesitation," unquote. Another executive was even more brutal, saying, quote, "She's destroyed every relationship in this league and now we're all paying the price," unquote. The timing couldn't be worse for Engelbert. The collective bargaining agreement negotiations are happening right now in 2025, and they're completely stalled. Players are demanding better salaries, improved travel conditions, and actual security at games, all reasonable requests that Engelbert has apparently been dismissing as unrealistic. One player agent told me off the record that there's a 0% chance any deal gets done with Engelbert still in charge. The players simply don't trust her anymore. Here's where things get really messy, though. Remember that $75 million capital raise Engelbert bragged about back in 2022? Well, it turns out she sold 16% of the league's ownership to private equity firms without properly consulting the existing owners. Now, in 2025, those investors are making demands that are completely at odds with what the players and fans want. One owner called it, quote, "a bureaucratic nightmare that's handcuffed us more than helped us," unquote. The situation with Sophie Cunningham perfectly illustrates how badly Engelbert has mismanaged player relations. When Cunningham joined the Indiana Fever this season alongside Caitlin Clark, it should have been a marketing dream. 2 of the most popular players in the league on the same team. Instead, Engelbert's office barely promoted it. And when Cunningham spoke up about the lack of support, she was reportedly told to, quote, "stay in her lane," unquote, by league officials. No wonder players are furious. What's even more shocking is how Engelbert has handled the safety concerns around Caitlin Clark. Throughout 2024 and continuing into this season, Clark has faced unprecedented physical targeting from opponents. We're not talking about hard fouls here, we're talking about players literally trying to injure her. And what has the commissioner done about it? According to multiple sources, she's told team executives that the controversy is, quote, "good for ratings," unquote. But that wasn't the whole story. It gets worse. During the WNBA Finals trophy presentation last October, Engelbert was booed so loudly by the crowd in Phoenix that the broadcast had to cut away. Fans were giving her the middle finger, chanting for her to resign, and security had to escort her out through a back tunnel. This wasn't just a few angry fans. This was thousands of people united in their hatred for the commissioner. And yet she's still in power 3 months later. The real puppet master here is NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. He's the one keeping Engelbert in her position despite overwhelming evidence that she needs to go. Why? Because firing her would make him look bad for hiring her in the first place. One WNBA owner told reporters, quote, "Adam doesn't want to admit he made a mistake, so we're all suffering for his ego," unquote. Think about how insane that is. An entire professional sports league is being held hostage because one man doesn't want to look foolish. Meanwhile, the players are organizing like never before. Angel Reese, Diana Taurasi, and even rookies are all posting cryptic messages on social media about, quote, "new leadership needed," unquote. The Players Association has scheduled an emergency meeting for next week, and sources say they're considering unprecedented action if Engelbert isn't removed by the end of February. We're talking about potential game boycotts, media blackouts, and even players refusing to participate in All-Star Weekend. The financial implications are staggering. The WNBA just secured its biggest media rights deal ever, but that could all fall apart if the players revolt. Sponsors are already getting nervous with several major brands privately expressing concerns about the leadership crisis. One marketing executive told me, quote, "We invested in the growth story of women's basketball, not this circus," unquote. Here's what makes this even more outrageous. Engelbert is still giving interviews acting like everything is fine. Just yesterday, she told a reporter, quote, "I've never been a quitter and I won't start now," unquote. The delusion is absolutely incredible. She's comparing herself to a fighter when in reality, she's the one destroying the league from within. The contrast with how other leagues handle their stars is shocking. Can you imagine the NFL commissioner dismissing concerns about Patrick Mahomes' safety? Or the NBA commissioner telling LeBron James to be grateful for his endorsements? It would never happen. But somehow in the WNBA, disrespecting your biggest draw is apparently acceptable leadership. What happened next would shock everyone in the basketball world. 3 days ago, a group of WNBA owners held a secret conference call without Engelbert's knowledge. According to my sources, they discussed potential replacement candidates and even set a timeline for her removal. The consensus was clear. She needs to be gone before the season starts in May, or they risk a complete player revolt. The leading candidate to replace her? Former player and current broadcaster Rebecca Lobo, who has the respect of both players and owners. Other names being floated include former NBA executive Amy Brooks and even tennis legend Billie Jean King. Any of them would be a massive upgrade over the current disaster. But here's the truly shocking part that nobody's talking about. Engelbert's contract reportedly includes a $10 million golden parachute if she's fired without cause. That means the league would have to pay her more money than most players make in their entire careers just to get rid of her. It's absolutely disgusting when you think about players fighting for livable wages, while the worst commissioner in sports history gets a massive payout for failure. The situation with Caitlin Clark specifically has become the flashpoint for everything wrong with Engelbert's leadership. Here's a player who literally saved the WNBA from irrelevance, who brings in millions of new fans, who sells out arenas wherever she goes, even when injured, and the commissioner treats her like she should be grateful for table scraps. Clark hasn't publicly commented on the situation, but sources close to her say she's, quote, "disgusted and disappointed," unquote, by Engelbert's comments. The Indiana Fever organization is reportedly furious too. They've built their entire marketing strategy around Clark and Sophie Cunningham, investing millions in promoting their star duo. To have the league commissioner undermining their biggest asset is beyond comprehension. One Fever executive allegedly told other owners, quote, "She's sabotaging our investment," unquote. What makes this even more bizarre is that Engelbert came from a business background. She was supposed to be the CEO type who could grow revenue and expand the league's reach. Instead, she's managed to alienate every stakeholder group simultaneously. It takes a special kind of incompetence to unite players, owners, and fans in their hatred of you. The clock is ticking now. The All-Star Game is in July, the Olympics are coming up, and the WNBA should be preparing for its biggest spotlight ever. Instead, they're dealing with a leadership crisis that threatens to overshadow everything positive about the league. Multiple sources have told me that if Engelbert is still commissioner by March, we could see unprecedented player action that would make the recent MLB and NHL strikes look tame by comparison. This is bigger than just one bad commissioner. This is about the future of women's professional sports in America. The WNBA has momentum, it has stars, it has fan interest, everything except competent leadership. And until that changes, the league will continue to underachieve despite having generational talents like Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. The next few weeks are absolutely critical. Will the owners finally find the courage to stand up to Adam Silver and demand change? Will the players follow through on their boycott threats? Will fans continue to make their voices heard at every game? One thing's for certain, Kathy Engelbert's days as commissioner are numbered. The only question is how much more damage she'll do before she's finally shown the door. If you think it's time for new leadership in the WNBA, drop a comment below and let us know who you think should replace Engelbert. And don't forget to subscribe because this story is developing fast and you won't want to miss what happens next. The future of women's basketball literally depends on what happens in the next 30 days.